This video was made possible with the help of Game Toppers. Upgrade your gaming experience with a Game Topper.
Let me tell you about a game where players are going to be playing as heroes, and each hero comes from a different class, warrior or wizard, and you'll be going to a local village, and the villagers will tell you that they're being bothered by some big creature which you have to go and kill. After you kill it, yay, after a big struggle and a big battle, you go back to the village where you're rewarded with gold, which you can spend in the village market to buy new equipment or potions, and you'll be experiencing experience as well, so that you can spend to level up at the local tavern for some reason. And afterwards you'll move on to the next village and fight the next monster. No, I'm not talking about this. I'm actually talking about this. So in a nutshell, Dice and Dragons is a cut down version of Dungeons and Dragons, where you're just concentrating mainly on the combat with dragons. Yes, your group are dragon slayers, and as the campaign book illustrates, there's a lovely little story where you're musing along and getting told about these pestering big beasts of fire breathing and poison breathing danger, which you then have to go out and slay. And there's no role playing in it, although the only role-playing that you'll be doing is with dice and Yahtzee style. Players will choose which class they wish to be and then fill out their character sheet. Each character sheet has the typical things like armor class and hit points, but it also has different combinations of dice results which will do damage to the dragon, or have some other special power like a parry, which will allow you to level up your armor class a bit more higher, or you might be able to lower the armor class of the actual dragons that you're fighting. Typical Yahtzee style, on a player's turn, you'll roll the 5 dice, and if there's any results that you wish to keep, you can, and all the other dice you can re-roll if you wish. I say be careful, because that's where an interesting part of the game comes in. After your third roll, whatever results you have, you'll correspond with your character sheet to see which attack you have done. Now, each of the different classes has slightly different results, although some of it is the same thing. Just basically having 2 or 3 or 4 of your own symbol will do some damage to the dragon, although there are some different symbols which will do different attacks. Getting used to these symbols at the beginning of the game is a tiny little bit head scratching, but before you've killed your first dragon, you will have it knocked out the park quite easily. You'll know that the rogue symbol is the crossbow, because that's quite an easy one to master, whereas the wizard one is a kind of butterfly, but hey ho. So once you've made a successful hit, you'll take one of your tokens that correspond with your character class and you'll cover over that attack. So in the future, you can't do that combination anymore. You have to do one of the other combinations. Now, if you don't manage to get a result that you need and you totally miss, then you just have to cover one over at random. Obviously, thinking ahead of which ones you might be able to do and which ones you might not want to do at all, or might not be able to do. The pleasure of this game, which differentiates it a tad from Yahtzee, is the fact that there are dragons on these dice as well. Any dragons face up at the end of your third roll are going to be attacks against you. They're counter attacks. The dragon's having its tail whiplash back at you. So yeah, you may hit it one and give it 4 points of damage, but it might do some damage to you on your turn. So judging when to stop rolling in which dice to reroll is kind of, you know, common sense, but at the same time there's that, you know, I should stop really now and just take that little light attack instead of trying to go for the big attack. Again, another thing to bear in mind is the next player takes their turn is they can use any of your unused dice and keep it on the side without having to re-roll it. So if they happen to be the warrior and a dice that you didn't use was the warrior dice, then they can keep it as an automatic success. And obviously the more warrior dice that they roll, the better their first attack is going to be. So judging when to stop and again which dice to save, it actually becomes a tad more interesting than saving your ones because you need the ones basically in Yahtzee. So as you can see, it's quite a quick playing Yahtzee style game. But what's going to happen is every player is going to hit the dragon, and maybe they get in the face afterwards if they roll poorly. And you'll do this 3 times, covering over 3 of your actions before the dragon has its turn. Now one of you is going to have to be the brave soul to roll the dice for the dragon, and again, same style, you roll the dice 3 times and you save all of the dragon face's results. Simple as that. That determines what damage the dragon does to the party. When I say party, it means everybody gets the same damage. It's not distributed, so if there's 3 of you playing and there's 10 damage, you don't go, well, you take 4, I take 2 because I haven't got much left. No, you all get 10, which puts the pressure on the players quite immensely because, yeah, the beginning's quite easy. You've each had 3 free hits at this big beast, and now it's going to knock the living crap out of you. And that's primarily the game. If you kill the dragon, great. As I said, you get golden experience points, which you can divide up between your party and then upgrade your character. You can upgrade it by leveling up, of course, which is the easy way, which will give you maybe a more powerful attack of one of the ones that you've got existing, or you can buy a new attack and add it to the blank spaces on your character sheet, which gives you a different combination to go for. Now, of course, there's gold, which you can spend to buy potions, which will restore hit points during battle, or maybe even let you re-roll. You can buy a shield or 2, which will bump up your armor class, which will deflect X amount of damage that you receive, which is all the typical things that you'd find in a role-playing game. And they work in this. It kind of pushes you on. Yes, it's a push your luck game in that classic 50s style dice game style, but at the same time it's got this, you know, this level grinding aspect of the game which makes you want to go to the next dragon and try and take them out. And all the dragons are not the same. Of course, their hit points get bigger and bigger and their attacks get stronger and stronger, but they also have different powers. Some of them have armor classes, so they deflect some of the damage that you do to them, and some of them even have poison, so you'll be taking damage every time you take your turn. These are all kind of like little interesting tweaks which fit into the realm of Dungeons and Dragons, but at the end of the day it still feels like Yahtzee. The components are pretty good for what they are. You've got some nice solid tokens which do different things like trap or indicate your poison damage. The dice are nice slightly weighted dice. The character sheets are colourful but limited in the box, but luckily you can download these and print them out at your own leisure. It also comes with a couple of pencils which have these rubbers or erasers or gums, whatever country you come from, which are okay. The sheets are not that reusable in my experience, you know, so once you've played a game and you've killed a couple of dragons and then you've died yourself, you'll probably throw these away. Talking about dying, yeah, that's how the game can end. It can either end with you killing all the dragons or you dying during the case of a fight. There is a third kind of thing in the middle there. What will happen is if you feel that you're not going to beat the dragon, you can run away. Running away means that you'll take some damage and you'll get a chance to heal, but also so will the dragon. And then you restart the fight all over again. And that's one thing that you'll probably do if the luck of the dice are not with you. So, as a technical score, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. The material is okay, it's very sparse, the rulebook is well written, the narration of the campaign is very nice, although it could have done with a reference sheet for the leveling up because it's in the rulebook, whereas the reference tables for what's available in the market are in the campaign book. So you're constantly going from book to book between every dragon, so to speak. But what about my BGG score? Wow, I do enjoy playing this, and my daughter enjoys playing it as well. It's light, it's fluffy, it's just a fun 20-minute game that we can get out and just go, you know what, today I'm going to be the wizard, or today I'm going to be the rogue, and then just go for it. And then the fun of the game comes from, as I said, once you've killed a dragon, is leveling up, choosing your equipment that you want for your next battle, and all these things mitigate the luck of the dice and give you a bit more of a chance against the next bigger monster. Obviously, if you're playing with a larger group of people, that's going to change the amount of smacks that you can do to a dragon before it has a chance to smack you. In a 2 or 3 player game, you're going up against one dragon, and obviously with 3 players, you get more punches in below the belt before the dragon hits you. In a 4 or 5 player game, it's the same kind of thing, but you have 2 dragons. So again, with 5 players, you're getting more smacks in than you are before. So it's kind of balanced, but not so. But as I said, I kind of enjoy doing it. It's okay, and I will play it if it's in the mood. Therefore, it's a 6 out of 10 on my BGG rating. If you combine my BGG and the technical score together, you're going to get a 7 out of 10. Now, things I like about this is the fact that it could have been a combat system for the old Fighting Fantasy books, because the combat system in these games was really crap. And that's a shame, because that's what this game feels like. It feels like part of this, and this feels like part of that. If they were just combined, we'd probably have a much better and more entertaining game, because the combat system, as it works pretty well, and leveling up and getting different weapons, that all might fall in nicely to this mechanic. And then having a really good story to go along with it is a double-edged sword. I don't know if that means a good thing or a bad thing. It just come out my mouth. It might mean good thing. I meant it as a good thing, but it's like it's a bonus. So there you have it, Dice and Dragons. It's not exactly Dungeons and Dragons, and it's not exactly Fighting Fantasy, but it is a fun dice romp, going through, you know, the evergreen fields fighting dragons, which you can do probably with your youngins, because it's got that kind of family story element to it. It's kind of like a light Hobbit kind of story. So there you go. Thanks very much for watching. If you've liked this video, then please give it a like. If you know someone that might appreciate this game, share this video with them. And if you want to check out everything else that's been going on in the board game world, in my board game world, you can go to boardgameseverybodyshould.com, where you can check out the board game reviews. Not only my board game reviews, but Guillaume and Arnold's board game reviews as well. I have some colleagues helping me out. Yay! You can also go and check out the Berkey and Badger Board Game Babble podcast there. And while you're wondering why there's not many reviews coming out for me, that's because I'm working on board game music and effects for Sirenscape. And you can find that on boardgameseverybodyshould.com as well. So ciao for now, and remember to please play nicely, because rolling, it's best to roll with your friends than roll against them.
Just sitting at the table next to Felicia would be quite nice. Wouldn't it be good? I got some board games.